quick question to liven up the things. I asked this question somewhere else also, so I'm going to ask again. So those who heard this question should not get the answer. In 1969, when I said this, what happened in 1969 other than the establishment of the culture, establishment of the environment? What exactly happened in 1969? Anybody about the 25 of people right now? Okay, the panelists cannot answer. Okay, others can answer. Anybody? Yes, unmute yourself and answer. What happened in 1969? Of course, we had Hotel California. That happened in 1969. And other than that, something happened in 1969. An event happened of some great significance worldwide. Now it is we should begin to look at. Okay, the event that I'm talking about was the landing of the movement on the
Neil Armstrong.
Yes, I don't know what we are doing. That's okay. But very well as Neil Armstrong and Jimmy Carter. They have a couple of 22nd. So later, coming back, the Project Management Institute started sometime there around 1969. Chapter of the world. Now, what does Project Management do? Project Management Institute evangelizes the cause of project management across various forums all over the world, in academia, in government, in corporations, in corporates, in various industries. It evangelizes project management across the spectrum. So we have standardized our project management fundamentals based on the axis and that keeps changing from time to time, or that's getting updated from some approach 80 years that we have. So we had a project management body of knowledge, what is the people which is being updated every few years. Based on the answer, it has become dependent on the standard of the industry as well. Project management that is what project management does. It does with an body of volunteers. Will be surprised to know, and I may be pleasantly surprised to know that people like Priya, myself, and many, many, many more people all over the world are volunteers. We don't get paid, we are doing it because we are giving back to the project management institute. We have the project management professionals, and we are in the process of working with like-minded people, and that is where we are coming together because this is also part of the networking process. This is a part of the outreach that we are reaching out to people, and that is how we come and meet people like you. So we are simply speaking, evangelizing the cause of project management across various bodies. So it's what we might call not-for-profit organization, and then we stand project management institute Mumbai chapter was set somewhere in 2001. So we are completing 20 years. So a lot of chapters are there already here. We have in Chennai, we have in share ideas, students, among government bodies, government officials, as I mentioned. I think this is a share of what we are doing. Going on talking, is there anything you would like to ask me before we function to continue? I'm the president of my own name, and I'm the principal of my chapter. We keep changing the board every 2 or 3 years. We are having elections every year. So once you become a member of the decide to become a volunteer, who knows, you may also take up some positions, you may take up some administrative positions in the future. It's possible. Right now we are talking about career with Charcha. So let us talk about the career and how we can, as we grow out of student life, work for corporate world, for job and your sustenance. Any questions? So I presume that everybody that Saturday morning, Sunday morning,
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for the informative introduction on PMI Mumbai chapter. So now I like to welcome our today's session panelists. We have Niraja Ganesh, who is the consultant at Basil Tree Consulting. She has worked with Manhattan Associates and Sonata Software as a software engineer, was the senior manager in ANZ, was the director at Capgemini, head at Jobs for Free Foundation, was the consultant at Coenergy Leadership Academy. She completed advanced diploma in systems management from NIT and Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, Economics and Statistics from Vijaya College. We have Gita Gopal, who is the head of infrastructure projects delivery and digital transformation at Panasonic Asia Pacific, was the manager and senior executive at Daimler Southeast Asia Private Limited, was also the creative head projects at Xenosoft Tech. She completed her Master of Science from University of Oxford, Human Resource Management and Services from National Institute of Business Management, and Bachelor of Engineering in Computer Science. We also have Aradhana Kurup, who is the Director of Information Technology at Laws India, was the Director of Quality Assurance at L Brands, Vice President at Wells Fargo, was the Principal Delivery and Transformation at Capgemini, Senior Vice President at PACE, was the Head of Institutional Testing Practice at ANZ, Quality Assurance Consultant at LG Soft India and Sonata Software, and was Senior System Administrator at Institute for Integrated Learning and Management. She has completed her education from Delhi University. We also have Priya Patra, who is a program manager at Capgemini and vice president outreach at PMI Mumbai chapter. She is also the session moderator of today's session. She was a faculty member at PMC, founder of Women Power Up Network, was the committee head Mumbai region at Via Oneness Foundation, was a senior manager at iGate, project manager at Intercell India Private Limited, was a Java specialist at Computer Marketing Corporation and consultant at TCS. She has completed MBA from Institute of Social Welfare and Business Management, BE in Computer Science and Engineering from Marathwada Institute of Technology. I once again welcome all the panelists. I will request Priya ma'am to take over this session. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have
one is associated with an organization like BMI, and I can see that they have been exposed to this kind of professionalism that appears in an organization. And what community work they have done, how do they network and look for mentorship? I say, so these are the different things, as a life person that I do, or even to interview someone. So that's something that is here as my message that have uncertainty, but you have these options which you can differentiate. He used to, kind of think of lots of content and it was the CEO of this strategy. And so she became part of this social media strategy team for us. And before I moved into France, she was actually elevated to the role of the analysis. The girl is still not, finished because of the pandemic and one exam is still pending. But here at Aspire, it's the lead analysis. Now, I would say it is all voluntary in terms of there is no payment. But do you know the exposure that she got? When she did lead analysis, she was talking to the PMS and the IPs. And it was telling the role that national similar good analysis. Her mother is also one of the same PMS that she is working at that age of the same way. This is what is meant by grabbing opportunities. There are day to day, that's how you gain your experience. And you make yourself a well-rounded person that we are saying. How do you do the communication? How do you your mother practice? And we say that as wide as the character that one is not the love that we and today's most recent semester, yesterday rather than talking and I'm saying I want to tell her to do some things because she is doing some very learning course from this organization which is happening now. Data science course, data scientist. She is applying for some competition and she has to learn data science. She's applying for an internship at now to get excited the experience of internships. She is doing something in AWS that's how I have to tell you those. There are plenty of opportunities. And you just have them and start moving. And you will definitely increase the education. That's my responsibility. The next question is about minus has a large structure into organizational transformation. This question is for Anna. How can we capitalize how so I think and thanks for having me here and listening to the matters. I mean, this is opportunity of life. And when I say opportunity, you can choose what you want to see in it. Right? So, one of my favorite Charcha sometimes I get very you just plan your life, your career, what you want to be, and you just try to do it well. Right? When I first came to Singapore, I was 2 years when I was a house girl. And I had 4 years of work experience, but it doesn't have nothing in Singapore. Right? I started working, this is just an example. Right? We think that, we have some experience, we do somewhere else, we can start off. But in my case, 2 years I didn't get a job. The first job I got, like, it was a very, very low level job, I would say. The lowest in the team, of few people, project coordinator job, they just needed someone to test their applications. But they immediately liked me and they changed my 3 month contract into a 6 month contract. And 2 years down the lane, I became a 4 year manager of that 5 year contract. Like the program manager. And so all this is right is just to say that no one offers you these opportunities and be on a better any opportunity you get the mind and see how best you can do it. Most of the things we don't know it, right? Like, get a job, right? Or don't do everything well. So you have to learn and gain some kind of integrity. And I would say, right, you have to put your strengths there. Use your strengths. You have to serve your support wherever you are. And you will have to stand everywhere, but use your strengths to be strong and, get going from it. This is my own personal story. This was in 2000, till when I was 5, and in 2020, I became a future 15 from a project manager from an institution and project management nearby. Right, so that was not bad. I just did my job well, growth came, appreciation came, and recognitions came. And you don't pursue these things, you don't pursue opportunities, you just do whatever you get well. That is my life experience so far. And in terms of building your strengths, right, I know about this. I like to say strengths, weakness, opportunities. Strengths is a nice way of summarizing things, right? We all have strengths. We have more weaknesses that we care for knowledge. And we sometimes don't even focus on the opportunities we get. And in terms of strengths, right, we don't get so I feel that rather than just looking at strengths, look at it in these four aspects. Strengths, yes, you know what you do best, but always be who does it better than you. And learn from them. Find out how they do that so that you can be better than your own self and not in competition with anyone else but your own self. Right? That's the first point. The second point is weakness. So it's an unpleasant truth, right? And sometimes we don't want to hear criticism, negative feedback. We only want to hear good things. But that's I would say. You should be open to getting negative feedback or constructive feedback and taking it with a pinch of salt, assessing the realistic situation and taking it in a positive way. Right? That's how you grow. And that will help you to be better yourself. Right? The third one is opportunities. Like I say, right, you don't get the opportunities in the one, most of the times. And you have to make the best of what you get. The other day I was interviewing someone, another PM manager who for a BES student, upcoming BES student, and he told me this was nuclear leader from China, was a future movie, and he told me 10 years ago he wanted to become an automotive engineer. That had been his dream. But when he graduated, there were no automotive jobs in China. The only job he got was nuclear engineer, and he was able to take that job because nuclear is not the same sector that he was Fukushima incident happened. So, but he took it. And 10 years down the lane, he's a leader for nuclear industry in China. And he's a future 50 today. So his message to me was, I just took what I got and I did it well. And I continue to do it well. So that's the opportunities I'm talking about. One step at a time, right? And the last one is the threats. Again, threats is like has a very huge potential to impact us negatively, which we sometimes close our eyes to. So we should always see what our threats are, what could derail us. In family life, right? Like today I'm running so many projects, but I know the moment my son falls sick, right, I cannot do anything else. I have to focus. So I have to reprioritize my everyday life. And that's when I have to be aware of what are my threats, what could go wrong. And so this is how what I would suggest to you guys. In your own way, see your strengths, weakness, opportunities, your threats. Get help from people who are willing to help you. Get mentors to help you, and feel free to reach out to people like Priya, Nirja, myself, and Aradhana. And we are always there to support and guide people who are willing to take that step and don't know how to do it. Thank you, Geeta. So good words again here. Do a SWOT analysis. Be better than yourself. Your only competition is yourself. Take one step at a time. Be aware of your threats. I have written them down and I will practice this. Aradhana, on your profile, I see that you say, I aspire to perform roles where I am accountable for to supply the right technology at the right time to my stakeholders. And that's a very, very strong brand statement indeed. You work with multi geographical teams across domains. So, from your experience, how can you stand out without any experience? Can we stand out without any experience? And that's the question which has been put forward by Akanksha More. So, Aradhana, over to you. I think most of the questions are around the same theme. But
Yeah.
of course, different viewpoints from our panelists from their experience and background.
I think, Priya, we just heard Neja and Uta as well. They've spoken so beautifully in terms of, change, don't just go and get an education and just don't do your study alone because that's not going to get you. It's just going to get you a ticket to play. But, you have to be, if you want to really stand out, that means you have to invest yourself, right? Doing those other aspects. Try a lot of things, right? The thing is, if I said this was a land of opportunities, I just don't do that. There are so many jobs that are available. Earlier, we used to say stand out, right? Now I'm saying even stand up, you'll get a job. So I'm not even talking about that. Just stand up and you'll get a job. But here, in terms to stand out, I think everybody, if it's there are plenty of jobs that are there. There's a virtual world and opportunities to volunteer, like how I know children who are actually volunteering their time in multiple networks. There are so many opportunities out there. Don't think of it as a job. Think of it as a skill that you're learning. There's something new that you're adding to your resume, right? It could be anything that you're passionate about. So I'll tell you something very funny that when I wrote my first resume, okay, and this is what attracted the dean of the IILM Institute. So I had finished my master's in software engineering, and this is my first job. And the only thing that he caught on to was, I love riding the kinetic Honda. That was the only thing. But it was something. And though I was an Indian volleyball player and everything else, so that went with it. But I'm saying that stood up and he spoke to me and he said, Radhana, how are you going to, manage this MBA? So don't worry, I'll take care of it. It was like my confidence. I think, you got to be confident about yourself, and, at that point, I'm talking about 25 years back, this was how I felt. And today I'm laughing about it. But I'm sure you guys, with the virtual world, the culinary skills that you would be adding, even if you add another skill and you're an MCA, it's fine. Just put that in terms of your hobbies, what you have done. You spend time in say old age homes, providing your, volunteering out there. Put that out. So it shows empathy. It shows how compassionate. You could be a good team player. They could think. And if you juggled on multiple things that you've done education, you've been in sports, you've been doing something else, I think this person can really, expand and do a lot more. So with that, I believe that when you have the time now, please invest in yourself. And the batchmates who would have passed out, they are not waiting to get a job. They have opportunities in terms of being an entrepreneur. And there are institutes across who are providing free education to actually convert your dreams into reality if you're an entrepreneur. There are banks who are providing you loans, right? And I know there's so much sponsorship across in the industry if you are willing to actually invest in the ideas that you have. So make use of it, and that's how you stand up. And you don't have to stand up just like that. You can just do a big thing, and you could be the next person on the block, right? So take that.
Yeah, stand up. You don't even have to stand out. Yeah, that's a good thing. All right, so the next question is from Divya Dadikar, a very relevant question. And even today I face this dilemma. how do you choose between two options when you have so many options? What should be the deciding factor? And I'm assuming she's talking about the job opportunity. So, Nirija, what are the deciding factors that, or deciding points that come into play when you have multiple opportunities? What should I choose, and how should I choose? Nirija, can you give
Can
me?
you repeat the question? Yeah, my internet went off for a small second. So can you just repeat the question?
Yes, the question is if I have multiple opportunities, as Aradhana said, right? You don't have to stand out, just stand up and there'll be lots of opportunities. If I have multiple opportunities, how do I choose? What is the deciding factor?
Sure. So you'll always have multiple opportunities for sure. So let me start there. So don't worry about it. Okay. So if there is any worry, put that aside. As everyone has said, it is about how you kind of make yourselves different to the rest and get sucked into it. And if you are at crossroads where you have 3, 4, and you have to make those decisions, a few things. I definitely will go with what your passion is. I think you must follow that. And I'll give you a backstory to this. So in the 1990s, early 1990s, when the IT boom hit our country, that's when I went and did this course at an IIT. Because everyone said that these software guys and girls get paid a lot of money. So we all went and did these courses. Plenty of courses were available. Many came and joined. And these institutes, I mean, I must not say that, but yeah, for them, they are students. They are not going to assess that you have the caliber, you have the potential to do this course or not. Come, join the course, right? So there were different kinds of people. We have come from very different backgrounds into doing a computer course. Some of us did it well. The rest of them struggled because the logical thinking that was required. Now, these days, I think kids have it because they are kind of molded into that from school. But we were doing it after our undergrad. So the logical thinking that was required to program, to even write algorithms and then program, not everyone got it. So some of us did well, and the majority actually struggled. And then eventually, like I got into Sonata exactly like Gita. I got a 3-month contract assignment which went on for 9 months, and then I got a permanent job. A few of us got that way, but majority of them went to do jobs like data entry operators and things like that, which is not necessarily called the most savviest of jobs. So please identify what you're passionate about. Just don't go because this is the high paying job, or this is the industry where I think the next 10 years is going to be. Like data science is a great option. In the next 10 years, 20 years, it is going to be there. But are you cut out for that? Like my girl, and I go back to my girl because I'm very closely looking at what she is doing, so I can probably relate to what you are also doing. She's an aspiring data scientist, right? So she has picked up math, statistics, computer science in her bachelor's course, which she's doing now. But she continuously tells me she hates statistics. Now, I don't know what about it. Maybe it's the faculty, maybe it's the way they're teaching, maybe it's online, whatever it is, but she says she doesn't like statistics. But look at it. I mean, we think that a data scientist should have a statistics kind of a background and should like that subject. But you know what she's good at? She gets so many assignments which she has to analyze, and then she has to draw out the report, her recommendations in terms of solving that problem. And she's fantastic in that. So she kind of stands out there. So what I've realized with her is maybe whatever they are doing with the statistical tools, I mean statistics, doing it yourself, maybe she does not cut out. So she probably should choose a role where there are tools available. It will throw out, those results, but you have to interpret it, and then you have to give the recommendations. So she has to pick a role like that. Okay, so identify that. As she said, what's the strength that you carry out? So Sneha, she's great at writing because she's a writer. So her reports are fantastic, and so she's going to tune herself into a role like that. So data science is a vast field. So you could be a scientist, or you could be an analyst, you could be a reporter, you could be whatever it is. I don't even know what kinds of roles exist. Like in our days, we used to say business analyst, or a designer, or a developer. So you had different kinds of capabilities that were required. So reflect a bit to see what your passion is. Just don't follow the crowd and the herd, and do what you are good at, even if that is not necessarily the hot cake today. But if you are good at that, for sure you will make it. you will eventually make the best out of it. So that's what I would definitely want you to kind of focus on. And if you are confused, the other thing that I would also say is, like for me, and I think Radna and I have kind of worked in similar organizations. So we worked in a banking captive. So do you want to look at organizations like that? So what does a captive organization do? It has only one client, right? So ANZ, it has only the client is ANZ. We are doing the technology for ANZ. So you're not going to get an exposure of different kinds of clients if you choose to go in a captive. But what you get an exposure is to probably the entire bank. You can move from the retail to the corporate to the back office to everything. So if that is what you aspire to understand the entire banking domain, then yeah, or the retail domain or whatever, then you look at a captive. But if you are the one who was kind of charged up with different kinds of clients that you want to, then maybe go to a services company that we did like in Capgemini. Priya is also that way. So you will get exposed to different kinds of clients. Your background is the same, you're delivering projects, but it's different client thing, right? But if you want to be, say, a very innovative, product-driven approach, then you decide, let me look at products or startups. So a lot of reflection is needed to say what your passion is and what your strength is, what you don't like and what you like, and then evaluate the career option that you need to decide.
Yeah, Nirja, that brings back to my career days, and I always worked for services organization. And I had to go to the US with my husband for a couple of years, where I took up a job in a product development company. Good exposure, but after 6 months, I got bored. Same people, same technology. There is nothing new to learn. It is so boring. And here, every 6 months, we change project, different clients, good exposure. I know it's challenging. You learn how to manage different geographies, etc. So yes, eventually I had to change my job to another services company, and I'm quite happy that I get involved into multiple initiatives, multiple projects, sometimes managing projects across different geographies, and that is where I think my passion lies, because same thing, I was kind of bored. So yes, guys, introspect, find what you like, what is your passion, and maybe that's the way how you can decide when you have multiple options. Now, Geeta, this one is for you. How can you become future fit? What skills do you need to face the future? And I think this is true for everyone, not only freshers, right? So let us hear from you. And this is a question from Sakshi Shetty. And Geeta, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Priya. Like how you and Nirja very nicely mentioned, right? You have all these different options, and you can choose what you want to do. Right now, you have that opportunity with a little bit of patience and hard work and being persistent. We can get those opportunities. Like you said, you had to go through 6 months of that, right? You cannot quit immediately, can you? No, because you are in a new country, you have to adapt and so on. But in the long run, you were still finding opportunities that you want to be part of, right? And you did it. This is another very good example. And I always have this, mantra, which I call it the CCCs. How do you want to be fit for the future, or how do you even want to do your job well, do anything well for that matter? It's CCC. I always write it down. One is communication, be good in communication. Second one is collaborate. Be willing to collaborate with people, right? And then the third one is be consistent in whatever you do, be it your values, be it your focus, your career choice. Try to be as consistent as you can and to realign. Life's going to throw you all over the place. Try to bring everything back on track, and for that you need to know what you want and be consistent. So these three things I feel is needed in any organization, in any role you want to play, and to be anything for that matter. Be good in communication. Communication is not only about what you speak. It is about listening. It is about trying to understand, think from the other person's perspective, why they are asking this, why are they giving us this trouble. Some of our clients and customers are very, very tough, and you don't want to talk to them, because you just want to give up some days, right? But that's your job, and that's why your company has entrusted you to do this. And everything is not going to be a bed of roses. And communication is a very, very important thing which helps us to overcome our obstacles, difficult people, difficult tasks, and communication can be different things. Like I said, sometimes people just want you to listen to them. they don't want you to do anything, they just want you to hear their problem. And then they also understand. So that eases the tension and so on. And then another thing is that Priya said, like 5 years ago, she might not have, had this confidence, but now be collaborating with different people, her communication skill has improved. And this is the same for me. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. And that's because I was willing to collaborate and I see everything as an opportunity. Last one is consistent. So I chose project management because that was the only thing I got in Singapore, right? But today that has become my bread and butter. Now I'm seen as an expert only because I was consistent in that. I kept getting opportunities like to go back to my computer science background. I'm still an IT, but I'm a project management expert, and there are not many such specialized project management experts doing IT infrastructure, AI, or blockchain. So I specialized in latest technology project management, and so that's my differentiation. And only consistency here is I do project management, but in different things. So this is just an example. I hope you can try to relate this to your own self. Yeah, it's little long-winded, but yeah.
So it's communicate, collaborate, and be consistent. 3 C's, good mantra. Again, I put down in my notes. So I'll try to imbibe these as well. Not very good in communication. Sometimes I talk too much, don't listen. But yes, maybe that's something that I have to still improve on. Now, there's a question from Janvi, and I would like Aradhana to respond to this. Gita said that, at least stick for 6 months, right? So, what is your opinion? For how much duration should we stick to a company? Is switching jobs and careers a good idea?
So let me honestly tell you about how I feel about it, right? In my own career, so if I say it spans 25 years, out of which I have done 9 moves, okay? 9 moves. And in those 9 moves, I have done various jobs, like how Gita has been so consistent in the PM practice, right? And that's her code that she's done. So I think the T that Nisha explained, your T, your depth is your PM skills. For me, I was a person who wanted, I did development, I went into project management, delivery management, release management, portfolio management, went on to doing multiple certain roles because within the companies, as I was learning, as I was growing, and when the opportunity to providing themselves, I kept on doing those. I never stopped myself to say, I'm going to do only one thing because when I started my career and also during programming times, I would say that, we did web technologies and suddenly there was a shift that, Oracle ERP I had to work on. And I had to learn on the job and work on that system, right? And then you're working with multiple clients, UK, US, working late hours and everything else. So you have to adapt, keep changing. So, and then when you start enjoying your work, whatever you're doing, like if you keep enjoying your work, you will sustain in the company for that length of time. So it's all on you, how you take your job, right? And as being a woman, so it's not always about profession, right? There's always a personal level that it happens. So you get married, and if your husband is somewhere else, you got to travel with the person. You may not get a job, or you have a child, and you're the one who can bear the child. So you have to sit at home and kind of really, Now there's a lot of flexibility in the virtual world. I think some of the young mothers are actually. Having both. I think I saw both reactions. One is I'm getting to spend so much time with my child, I can keep an eye on him and I can still work. And then there's other reaction to see, I'm always at home and this is all I do. And I'm like, like how a homemaker feels at times. Exactly that. But I'm saying that, if you do not enjoy what you're doing, don't do it. Right? Don't do it because there is that opportunity that somewhere you feel when I do multiple things. I'm so aspiring to do a COO role, right? Because I've done all these multiple things. Various companies. I've done transformations. I've done all of that. So I think that's the space I want to be. I'm not sure. Is that what I want to do? But I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to grow. I want to do the best in the job that I currently do every time, right? For me, every day matters, right? Be good at what you do and keep doing that. there will come a time when you would say, okay, somewhere the company wants me, but this is not what I want. So that's the time you actually make the shift. So it could be 1 year, it could be 10 years. You could be in a company. I know my friends, 25 years, same company. They love, they just go, and that's the only world that they know. So I would say that's all in your hands.
Yeah.
What you want.
True. Stay along as long as you enjoy your job and you see that you're passionate. You get up in the morning and you look forward to, go to your job. Maybe that's the indication that I still need to continue with this organization. And once I'm bored, maybe that's the time I will need to move out. Yeah, that's a good, piece of advice. And this is probably the second last question because we are running out of time, and this is for Nirja. And this is something that I have also faced in my early stages of my career. I started with, C, C++. And when web technologies was a hot thing, and I always felt, oh, I'm working on an old technology. Maybe I am not learning enough. But when I look back now, right, I exactly know how memory allocation works. I exactly know how objects work. I exactly know when you do not do explicit garbage collection, what happens, right? And so we know exactly, even now when we go for low code and no code, I know how it is working behind. So it is easier for me to debug and come up with a solution. Now the question that Anu Singh has asked us is that most of the organizations, they have a the revenue stream coming from older technologies like .NET, Java, etc. Now, how do you how will they get into some desirable field? So I'm assuming this is about the newer technologies like RPA, AI, ML. If companies are not having much projects in these areas, especially for a fresher to get into those fields, may become a little difficult. So, Nirja, how would we tackle that?
Sure. So I think all of us have had the same kind of a story because we almost started off maybe within 10 years, I may say, because Gita probably is much younger. So of our career journey. So when I got into Sonata, the first job, a contract assignment, I was still at NIIT, I was still studying. So we just went because for us IT was booming. And even before we finished, there was this 3-month contract assignment. And it was big money for us those days. 1,500 rupees per month was big money. My father fell off his chair because I think it took him so many years to even come to that number, I think, right? So we just said, oh, we are going. 3 months contract, let's see what happens. Not yet finished our course. What was the job? Conversion project. If you all have heard of mainframes, so it was a mainframe system. There was a language called as PL1, and we had to convert code, that PL1 code, and make it COBOL code. COBOL is shit. And no brain power to be used because there was a document, accepted conversion methodology, ACM. So that is good at those acronyms. If you have this syntax in PL1, make it this in COBOL. There was no automation in those days, so they needed humans like us. So very blindly read that line of code from PL1, check the ACM. Over a period of time, you don't even have to check ACM because you will know it by heart. Make it this line in COBOL. Usko khatam karo and then give it. The next program will come to you. This is the job that we did 3 months. We did it enthusiastically. We were very thrilled with the coffee guy giving us coffee at our desk. These are new things for us. We never kind of had it. What I'm trying to say is what that did to us. So we stayed on for 9 months because the contract kept getting extended and then we got permanent employment. And by that time I had finished my studies also. But what it did to us was, as Priya said, some of the basic fundamentals that we learned. If there was a new syntax that came our way, that is when we had to use a little bit of research. And we didn't have any. We had to do a few other things, look up the manuals. And since it was mainframe, we didn't have the systems to test it out. You can't just run a piece of code like that, one line of code. So you had to really kind of be very, very thorough with your research from those manuals to say, okay, this syntax converts well here because the testing will happen later, integration and all of that. So it gave us that. Yes, at times we felt, is this what we are cut out for? We are learning the best, we are learning the newest. But there were opportunities which came because we stayed on, different kinds of people got moved into different kinds of arenas because we got evaluated. Are we good at what? Even with this simple conversion, there are certain strengths that come out. So, and we got moved into some projects. So there was the next big thing which was happening was the AS400 platform. Again, I don't know how many know about it, the mid-range. So they sent us for training on AS400. So we all felt really proud about ourselves. Mainframe say AS400, we graduated. So my next job when I switched, I think, to Manhattan Associates, I got picked because I knew COBOL, mainframe, Unix, AS400. And from NIIT, I learned C. Right? So I got that plethora of opportunities. That, so there will be projects which will be ancient, there will be technologies which will be ancient, but what do you learn out of it? How do you apply your strengths to that, and how do you prove yourselves there to move into what next? Because it is not always the latest and the greatest of technologies which will enable you to grow. So when I moved to ANZ, I have to tell you this. At the interview, they asked me what projects I worked at. I worked at COBOL, at Unix, and I had worked on this AS400. In my heart, I wanted to do an AS400 project. But so they said, we have everything. So we'll rotate you through. And day one, I was put into COBOL project. I hated it. So I used to attend interviews. I used to sneak away from the office. Nobody could track me because there was no mobile phone and all of that. And I still continued to attend interviews in the first 2 weeks because I was so upset they put me in COBOL. But I got offers, but nobody could match the ANZ salary. So I came back. And I stayed on in ANZ for 16 years. 16 years. Because that is where I grew. From that COBOL project, I told them of my aspiration. They moved me to, AS400, and then I've grown my leadership journey there. So it doesn't matter. I mean, you are learning a few things. That's going to just open your mindsets in terms of, as Priya said, how does this variable function, and where does this trash go and all of that. But eventually look at the bigger picture. What are you learning about the technology organization? The business challenges. The technology is a vehicle. But at the end of the day, are you able to help the organization succeed in their business goals? If so, doing an Excel sheet work is also perfect, is what I would say.
Yes. So technology is just the lever, and I keep on repeating again and again in all forums that I say, see, customer is the king. Are you solving the customer's problem? That is what we need to look at. So ladies, this has been an absolute privilege for me to engage in this discussion with such inspirational women leaders, and that too with young budding women leaders here. But before we wrap up, the last question to you. As a woman leader, what is the one tip that you want to give to our budding women leaders here in this session? I'll start with Gita.
Yeah, only one tip. We are, as women, we tend to be too hard on ourselves sometimes. So yeah, let's let our families know our dreams. It's very important. Get support from everyone. So our dream, if we win, it's everyone's victory at home as well. And we need to, make it look that way. That if we win, it's going to be a victory for the family. So there should be no ego, no head weight. I'm earning more than you. So those kinds of things will not get us anywhere. So first thing is be humble. Let your family know your dreams and try to get their help. Without family, without being happy at home, you're not going to go anywhere. So that's my only tip as women.
That is very true. Without the support of your family, it is difficult to move forward. And of course, I've also been very fortunate enough to get that support. Over to you, Nirija. What is your one tip or wisdom, word of wisdom you want to give to this young budding women leaders?
So I will say, speak up and ask, because this is the problem when we asked questions, nobody answered. Like they had given submitted, but I'm saying here in this forum, I think Priya, you also asked them, but there was hesitation. Forget the right and the wrong answer, right? There was hesitation to speak up and answer. Can you please ask for what you want and speak up? And again, quickly, I will narrate 2 stories here because that may prove the point. One is when I joined Sonata, as I told you, I was still studying, and they had put us into shifts. So there was a 7 to 3 shift and 3 to 11 shift. My classes used to be from 3 to 5. So they put me in the morning shift, and of course, because I'm a woman, probably they put me in the morning shift. But despite the classes were in the afternoon, we used to still hang around in NIIT because in those days we didn't have computers at home. So for any additional practice, we had to be, in NIIT just hanging around to see where there's spare PC. So you can't work in any shifts. I went and told this to, Sonata. I could have done two things. I could have quit Sonata and continued my studies, or, taken a break from studies and, focused on the job. But I went and spoke with Sonata and I said, this is my predicament. I don't know what to do. And they gave me a dedicated PC. They said, you come when you can. You go when you have to. As long as you finish the work we've given for the week by the Sunday, and it is at the same quality levels that we expect you to. Every team member will be, kind of evaluated on some quality manner. If I had not asked, I don't know where my career and how my career would have shaped, right? I may have actually not taken up the Sonata job, or I may not have finished my studies. Similarly, a current example, again, I go back to my daughter. So there was this opportunity for this 10-week learning, thing from a data science organization, a data organization. After the 10 weeks, they would get internships and then placement. So students applied, left, right, center. A lot of applications came. This girl also applied. She didn't get chosen. And finally, we got to know that they were looking at postgraduate students because 10 weeks of learning and they had to then hire them, right? So they will look at those finishing up the courses. This girl is the second year, third semester. So she didn't make it. But they got an opportunity, all the applicants, to interact with the leaders of that organization because the leaders wanted to give them feedback in terms of why they selected or why they didn't select. My girl, she opened up her mouth to, say what her aspirations were and what she's done in all of, these years and these months with studies and aspire for her and all of that. And made a pitch to say that, this is why I think, I should be in your organization as part of this, course, even if I'm not there at the postgraduate level. Next day she got selected. So can you please ask for what you want? What's the worst that can happen? You may not get what you want. But there's always the probability that you get. So do ask.
Yeah, speak up and ask. And I tell my team members also. And I get silence like this there as well. But yes, we keep motivating them to speak up and ask. Aradhana, what is your word of wisdom for our young people?
See, I think, with this quiet session that we've had, I would say, firstly, believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it, right? Be confident about yourself. Anything, I'm saying that we have just told you that we are in a land of multiverse of opportunities, not even one, right? So if you're there, if you don't believe in yourself and if you're not confident, how would you stand up for yourself and get that job?
Yeah.
You need to go grab it. So for this career pe Charcha, I would just say that, believe in yourself and stand up for yourself.
Yeah. So believe in yourself and stand up. Yes. And from my end, I feel have big dreams. Okay, dream very big and work towards it. Obviously, only dreaming will not work. You have to work towards it. Work towards it. And if you are tired, take rest, but don't quit. So try. You may not reach up to that level as you expected, but at least you will make progress. So that is all from our side, Shakshi. Thank you, panelists, for your time and words of wisdom. If there is any question on the chat window, we could take it up now. Shakshi, over to you.
Actually, I would like to thank all the dignitaries. And on behalf of our SNDT team, I extend a really heart of thanks to our chief guest, Mr. Jacob sir, who spared time from his busiest schedule to grace the event. And today we had an opportunity to hear his thoughts, and this will surely be going to encourage us in our future events. Also, I am very hearty gratitude to all the speakers for sharing their grateful words and sharing their wonderful life experience with all our students in today's meeting. I want to thank all of the speakers, all the panelists. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Are there no questions on the chat?
I just have this opportunity. Four of the people, I'm not saying that if we otherwise won't be available. We are available on LinkedIn. You can always connect with us. I hope everyone has a LinkedIn profile. But here's an opportunity for you to ask, is there something I can see something on the chat?
Yeah. If there is anything,
you have got a great opportunity. If anybody has any queries,
who asked
anything to ask.
The personal branding part, when you ask a question, you're automatically building a brand. Because I remember that one person amongst the 30 or 40, small screens where I couldn't even see the videos. I only had the name. When you ask that question, you will be remembered. So it doesn't matter whatever the question is. Sometimes I say just ask for that purpose.
Yeah.
Yes, anyone.
Putting the
You
pressure
have
on.
got a great chance to ask.
Yeah, anything. At least say hi to us. Your voice.
Yes, Janvi.
Oh, poor thing. Now we are pressurizing them. All right, so I think it's fine. If there are no questions, you can.
Somebody has put it, yeah. Yeah.
Sneha and Shakshi. Sneha, what if we land in a different field? I don't understand the question. Are you saying that you move from IT to some other field? Sneha?
Unmute and speak,
Yes,
Sneha.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
My
next.
question was that what if we land in we choose an IT field and because of some circumstances or any emergency we land to another job, but we don't want to do it there. We want to continue our studies. Then what should we do?
Yeah. So
Continue
Nirja
the job?
just explained so beautifully, right? That she didn't want to do COBOL and she was looking for another job, but she sticked around and she did so well. So Nirja, you can answer this question again.
Yeah, I'll just, kind of, because of my varied backgrounds, roughly 25 years of IT, then I went and headed this Jobs for Her Foundation, where I worked with a lot of women, some of them on a career break, looking to restart. Then I went to a college here and, I was building the industry academia connect. So I know the students from that space. Today I'm a freelance consultant. See, we have to kind of, look at what we want to do and progress. I'm not denying that. But every role and every, thing that you do will bring different kinds of opportunities. So, and for all you know, that will be the, path breaking career for you. Exactly like Gita. So she picked up what came her way, which was probably way much junior in terms of the experience that she had. But she kind of made the best of it, and today she wants to stick to that. If I tell you the story of Aradhana and I, right? So I both have come from tech backgrounds. But where did I meet Aradhana? In ANZ, I had moved to the quality assurance team. Quality assurance is usually called as a support function and not the most sought after. The people are also hated because we will be asking the most questions like a police, right? So I had chosen to move to that team because I felt I really wanted to become the process expert. Because I was getting shunted around, they were moving me to this team and that team, and I wanted, me to be known as that person, the go-to. Like today, Gita is the go-to for those kinds of projects. So I chose to move to QA for 6 months, and Aradhana had joined ANZ on that very day into QA. But we both stuck only for 6 months there. After that, honing of my process skills, I moved back to technology projects, and Aradhana got picked up because of the work that she did in QA by another technology team. So I'm telling you that it doesn't matter. Can you just do it well and showcase the strengths and the differentiators that you bring to the table so that the others will watch out and then they will move you, or you can find your own way to that opportunity that you want to. That's my take on this. I'm sure the others can also.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yeah. So Geeta and Aradhana, you want to add something to what Nirja said?
Ma'am, can I ask one question?
Can I just
Yeah, Gita, go ahead.
yeah, just to add on to it, this remember when I spoke, I mentioned about this person from China who wanted very badly to end up in automobile industry, but he had no choice and was only left with the nuclear industry. And 10 years down the lane, he is China's sought after program manager. He has handled a $7 billion project for China. Can you believe it? And he's just less than 35 years old. And he's completed that project already. So at 35 years old, he's led one of the largest nuclear programs in the world, and that too for a state-of-the-art country like China. So that he told me that he didn't want to do it, and his friends and family were so scared. Why do you want to take up a nuclear job? Job in the nuclear industry, because they feel that the Fukushima incident and radioactive issues. But actually, he said there's nothing like that. Actually, it's much more safer than taking a flight. So he goes there, he learns, he uncovers the biases,
he overcomes them, he finds a good role, and now he's a leader there. So this I think will hold good for all of us, right? Whatever we do, mostly we don't get what we want. We will end up in different fields at different points of time. Either you navigate back, or if you are able to survive that, and you, who knows, you might be a leader in that one day.
Yeah. Radhana?
Sure, I think both of them covered it so beautifully because it's about I think I don't know how people look at their own careers, especially once you've finished a little span in your career, then you get to know that those instances which you thought were obstacles in your way, that you did it and you didn't enjoy it, but somewhere down the line, it's almost like a jigsaw puzzle that is coming together for you to achieve what you are meant to achieve, right? So that's what I believe in. That you don't as she was mentioning that she has a challenge in terms of the field that she loves versus she is getting into something that she doesn't like for now. But it's always like if you go in with a thing that I'm not going to like it, that's a so it's also about your attitude, right? Opportunity. So if you look at this as a path of opportunity of learning something new out there, and you can always navigate back later. So do give yourself the chance and trust in that jigsaw puzzle I told you.
Yeah.
All fits it.
Yes, very nice. Shakshi, you had a question?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I had a question that after having industry experience for a few years, can we switch to freelancing? Also, does freelancing have opportunities in future?
Yeah. So Nirija is the best person to answer that.
So, Sakshi and the others, you may have heard that we are living in a gig world today. GIG, gig, right? That's the term being used, and more organizations are moving towards that. They will have a limited permanent employee base, and then the rest is going to be, in terms of contracting, consulting, and gigs. That's one part of the story. The other is, because there is different kinds of demand, you can't always employ 100 people and 1,000 people, right? So you will probably just keep that minimum workforce and the rest goes out as gigs. There's plenty available to you. So you don't even have to get that, first 5 years of experience is what I would say, because it is really, really looked up and respected today. If you've done a gig somewhere, it doesn't mean that you don't have the required expertise. Sometimes you'll be the sought out project manager who's always on a gig mode, but goes to different organizations, delivers a project that comes out. So there are plenty of opportunities available, just like job portals, there are gig portals. And right now, pick up a few gigs. What's stopping you? And it doesn't have to be in the field that you are specializing in. There's a lot of work required for social media content and Skype. Them up. You will hone your skills in terms of your communication. You will hone your skills in terms of learning that particular industry for which you're doing your social media or whatever, as an example. So it's the way to go.
Yeah, well said.
Thank
And
you,
there are
ma'am.
lots of portals, and really, this is a very, very good opportunity to get that experience that you're looking for. Aradhana, you want to add something to this? And Gita as well.
No, I think Nisha is the best to talk about it. Look at her career, right? So after IT, getting into such a that's why I call her the true Nisha. Nisha is like a lotus. She just grows into the person that she has become now. Who best than her to inspire these girls?
Yes, definitely. Gita, you would want to add something?
I feel the same. I know Nirja now for a year plus now, and that's what I've been seeing her. In the last 1 year itself, the different roles she has played and how she has adapted to all of that. Right, that is really amazing and something to learn from. So one tip I can give you guys here is pick people like this to follow. It's not just being active on Instagram, right? On the professional front, pick your role models, see what they do, learn from them, and yeah, one day they'll be proud of you. That you are following, you have followed them, isn't it, Dejana? What do you think?
Absolutely. I think all of us, look up to people. Like yesterday, I was having a fireside chat with Apurva Purohit. Those of you who don't know, Apurva Purohit was the, president of the Jagran Group, because now she runs her own entrepreneurship and she's written 2 fantastic books. Go read them. Google Apurva Purohit. I'm not going to tell you the names of the books. Do some work. But I was having a fireside chat with her, and she's a role model for me. But in some ways, she says, I'm a role model for her. So each of us have, I'm sure we have learnings from all of you. Even the age doesn't matter, experience doesn't matter. So definitely follow some role models. And you don't have to become like that, but there will be traits that you'll pick up, learnings that you'll pick up, which you can kind of implement and, use it as you go in your careers, for sure.
Sure. I was just about to tell everyone, please to connect with our panelists on their LinkedIn and be connected with them, because this is definitely going to be a big learning experience for you. And I'm going to put the LinkedIn profiles on the chat window. Connect with all our panelists and take inputs, see what we are doing, and this is definitely going to help you going forward. And please to connect with me as well. So I love to be connected with you. That makes me feel a little young. So I'm not young. This is fun.
And also organizations like PMI, if there is any possibilities of volunteering at this point in time, I think you should look it up. And this organization that I spoke about, which is Aspire for Her, and I'm taking the I don't know, rightfully, wrongfully, I'm putting the link out there because it is a phenomenal platform for you to learn as well as contribute. It is for girls, in the age group of 18 to 25. That's how it was carved out. And you must, become part of these kinds of forums and platforms to learn and contribute.
So I think we have come to the end of the session now. And with this, again, Jyoti Madam, over to you. You already given the vote of thanks, but we discussed more.
Yeah, I have. No, it was a great experience, ma'am, and I also learned a lot. Actually, I wanted to share my experience. I am teaching from last 2 years, and before that, I completed my MCA from SNDT college itself, that is Juhu branch. So I have done a 6 months of internship in IT, but I was interested more in teaching, so I have just shifted from this to the teaching field. So, but it was a great learning for me too, also, and I got to learn a lot from you all. So, thank you so much once.
So thank you. Then, if there's nothing else, then we can wrap up.
Thank you, our pleasure, and best wishes. I'm sure we are going to see more future come out from here.
Thank you,
All
ma'am.
right. Thank you very much.
Awesome. All the best. Good luck, guys. Bye-bye.
So much.